For sure, though, Tempo Storm looks the best maybe we've ever seen Tempo Storm in a very, very long time. They look so phenomenal. I'm very excited to see how they do at the Western Clash. And let's see if they can have end successfully on a 3-0. Or what Gale Force, this is what I was hoping. This is what I was hoping.
Tell me why, Gilly, tell me why.
Tomb of the Spider Queen, best Gale Force esports map. Maybe our best Tomb of the Spider Queen team.
Yeah.
They play every single moment from the first turn in to the end of the game to perfection in their rotations. It's their highest KD map for them, sitting at 2.47 KD ratio, 4.49 teammates per kill, and they haven't lost on it. They know how to play Tomb.
Can I give you an alternative stat that goes on the other side of the coin?
Let's do it.
Tempo Storm. They got a 2 in their record. It's called 2 losses, 0 wins. This is by far, this is the only map, that BOE, that they have not won on. And on Tomb of the Spider Queen, 2.47 KD for Gale Force, 0.44 for Tempo. They have not fared well. You go back to their series, this is the game that they lost to Heroes Hearth in the early part of the season. They were ahead, and then the Crowan came in, the Crowan Uther helping the gray main there, definitely helped out. They lost again. So if you're Gale Force, this is definitely what you want in terms of staying alive in this series.
If you are Gale Force, this is where the win happens. And maybe this is where the reverse sweep happens. The reverse sweep always starts with the first win being in that game 3, because that is in fact how reverse sweeps work. So here's where it starts, guys. Tomb of the Spider Queen. Get hype. Let's go.
I was like, and it starts with game 3, and I'm like, that is
100%
accurate. Yes. Well, either way, I think the Kerrigan factor is very much going to be here for this game as well. So far, 2 for 2 when it comes to the Kerrigans in our drafts in terms of involvement.
It's been a while since we've seen Tempo Storm play on Tomb, a couple of patches. So we'll see what they want to get here. But for Gale Force Esports, like you said, there's a lot of different things we've seen them play here. They've had a lot of Malthael priority. That's not going to be there for Tempo Storm, or because Tempo Storm banned it. Also, ETC, that's sort of just Gale Force Esports in a nutshell. Maybe the return to Michael Udall's Jaina, too.
Yeah, I think Jaina and Kerrigan will definitely be prioritized. Malfurion is another hero that we see being prioritized. So Hanzo being banned out. Gilly, I believe if I remember correctly, I don't have the stats directly in front of me, Infernal Shrines, 37% win rate for Hanzo. When it comes to Tomb of the Spider Queen, I believe this was his second least successful map. But Hanzo, obviously very, very strong, can set up the big combos that we've seen Tempo be able to run. Go into that Dragon Arrow, anything that follows up. The coordination of that last match between the Anubarak and the Genji, having Cattle lead in and then Fan always following up. I mean, it's just, it's really incredible play, the synergy that this team has when it comes to team fighting.
Yeah, Psalm is arguably best Hanzo in NA. There's a lot of people who are trying to contest that. You look at Hosty, you look at Crowan, but Psalm is a very good Hanzo player.
4 kills per game in 9 games.
I know, he hits those skill shots. He hits those skill shots. My concern, though, is that Gale Force Esports has had to consistently ban Hanzo because Tempo is so good with him, because he is still strong within the meta, even with the changes coming in, and because Gale Force doesn't play him. They've played only a little bit. And that is one concern I had coming into this game. It kind of feels like Gale Force is forced to ban him since they don't want to play him.
The Uther ETC, high priority in ETC, still for Gale Force. This time as second pick, they pair it with an Uther. That generally tends to be a much more favorable composition, but you do open the door pretty significantly for Tempo Storm to find something to exploit the Uther. Maybe some AoE damage, maybe Lunara, which would potentially be after second ban. Things like that can really come into play to counter against the burst style damage. But I think it also sets up the possibility that the Uther is one of the best counters towards Kerrigan and one of the best counters towards Jaina. Both priorities for Gale Force, and you're either going to have to pick one and ban one, else one of those could potentially go over to Gale Force.
Next 2 picks for Tempo Storm, they'll get Greymane and Blaze. So now if Gale Force wants to get super aggressive with the next few picks, having that Uther as an enabler, having the ETC, and we know how Fury likes to play his ETC, Tempo Storm has their bunker. Tempo Storm has also been willing to run Combustion. We'll see if there's a Medivh that gets added to Tempo Storm's comp. I honestly would not be surprised if Gale Force banned that here. That composition worked for them on Infernal Shrines, but it's still having the setup of the Leyline Seal and then the Combustion too. It worked out really well for Tempo Storm, and they already have the Twilight Dream too.
Yeah, and Medivh complements the fact that Greymane can go in and out, have plenty of protection. Malfurion lacks the burst healing. Medivh takes care of burst damage. Again, back towards the Jaina Kerrigan potential. Things like that are high burst damage, and Medivh just negates all of that damage.
Otherwise, maybe a solo laner here. Tempo Storm banned one, but didn't get one for themselves. Well, I guess they got the Blaze, so it could be the Blaze too. Although we've generally see that be played more by Cattle. There's the Medivh ban for Gale Force.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Tempo considering that Genji ban.
Is it worth a Jaina ban or a Genji ban? I mean, obviously Genji being one of the most banned heroes, period. I think he is the highest first banned hero in the world, I think in most regions, so.
And Gale Force have played it on Tomb before. Biggie's a formidable Genji player.
The one thing that I remember from Fury the last time, I think, not the last time, but when he went against the Blaze a previous time, I think it was Infernal Shrines, they got in the bunker, and Fury's like, oh, well, I know exactly where you guys are going to be. So he started a dance party right outside. It was like a block party right there. He just he went to town and everybody came out, and that was a big game changer for them. So I think the positioning, if it does come down to bunker, will be something to consider. Oh, why not get both?
You know what I'm thinking of is like, you hear someone knocking on the door, people go to answer, and then all of a sudden you've got a dance party just raging there, and you're like, you can't help but dance along with it. I mean, come on, what are you supposed to do? You're only human. But that's not going to be a Michael Udall Jaina then, as pretty sure that'll be Mike playing his Kerrigan again.
Yeah.
So we'll see Biggie flex over to that. But Jaina Kerrigan together is always a scary duo.
This is old school kill 'em comp. I mean, if you get any part, if you get half of this, I mean, I'm trying to think about it. You got ETC stun, Uther stun, Kerrigan combo, Jaina slow plus her burst damage combo. It is terrifying for people to deal with.
That's what these next picks are aiming to do for Tempo Storm. Tracer with the mouth, bringing that early aggression on their side. Shielding, Sanctification from Tyrael. Also may have been a deny if B-Kid wanted to play that Tyrael.
That, I mean, if B-Kid can play Kerrigan, I would like to see them maybe flex off this. The fact that Tracer is now in play, Uther heals because they're on such long cooldowns. Yes, you can use the armor to mitigate the pulse bomb damage, but most Tracer players, and I imagine that's going to be Fan in this instance, it's something that they always keep an eye on, right? They know exactly when they can use their pulse bomb. When's the armor down? When's my opportunity? When can I make this happen? I remember Gale Force last year, Fan, I think it was like their final game, their final series. They ran Tracer on Tomb of the Spider-Man. They didn't have the same success, obviously a different team here, but it's something that they definitely like to play.
Final pick for Gale Force Esports is Arthas, as probably the B-Kid pick, though both ETC and Arthas are iconic Fury heroes. In this case, I don't think they'll be moving Fury off of ETC anytime soon. You've got Arthas who can solo lane, while the kill squad does hopefully that. You've got the rotations of ETC, Kerrigan, Jaina, and Uther to look for those kills. Can Tempo Storm hold? Can they withstand that? Can they get their own picks with their Tracer?
I think that is a big question mark when it comes to the Tracer, is like, how early can you get kills? And you look at the composition of Greymane, if you can get the stun follow-up, Blaze kind of go in off of that. Again, it's a slightly different Greymane that we're going to be seeing, especially build-wise, but if you can find those opportunities, there are susceptible targets like the Jaina. Even Kerrigan can be susceptible if she gets too far forward, doesn't land the combo. You don't have that added protection. You have to commit a lot towards one side while the other side remains vulnerable. So there are some counterplays, I think, for Tempo here.
Tempo Storm has built a wall that Gale Force has to surmount right here, right now, if they have a chance of holding on any hope for the Western Clash. Tomb of the Spider Queen is the best map for Gale Force Esports to try to get that first win, to try to get the momentum to carry on through this series. Let's see how it works out for them.
See Kerrigan going block. We've seen, going into the sharpened blades a little bit, but I think, it's good against Greymane. It's very good against Greymane. All block abilities are good against Greymane because his attack speed is pretty standard without Inner Beast. But against Tracer, those auto attacks come a little bit quicker. Like a lot a bit quicker.
Yeah, Yeah, that's a very fast attack speed. So those are going to be eaten through a lot. I want to see the prog rock for ETC so that he can help out with that healing. Lots of globing, actually, for those teams between Fingers of Frost and prog rock. But I'm looking at who is playing what for Tempo Storm, and the flexing continues. Fan. Yeah, Psalm will be playing the Tracer, Fan on his Greymane. His Greymane is very good. And it's cool to see Tempo Storm adjust to this early game combo, although there's a combo for the ages with the Blizzard. Fan's gonna Razor Swipe out. Shielding there from Cattle. Heal there for June. I can't believe he lived. I
can't either, but they're gonna turn it. Biggie is in trouble now. The combo landing onto Psalm one more time. He finally goes down, but they should get the trade here.
Yeah, Fan healed up, came around from the side, 1 for 1. And we're starting out with explosive play. Before 1 minute into the game, 2 kills.
It's definitely one way to start this game. I'm not gonna complain.
But as I was saying with the rotations, it was cool to see Tempo Storm go up to the top. Gale Force Esports wins on that level 1. That's what they've been doing. That's how they play this out. They win that level 1. They clear out the camp, or the minion wave there in the mid, and then they start with this Jaina to have control of the rotations from mid to top. Tempo Storm counter pushed up in the top lane, just trying to make sure that they could slow that down from Gale Force Esports and kind of maintain their own presence over this turning point. So they can look for some Psalm pulse bomb kills, as well as just make sure that they have control over this turning point, or at least are keeping up with Gale Force there.
Yeah, it definitely favors that of Gale Force in terms of the rotation, but the one thing it does is by getting the advantage in the wave clear, it creates more opportunities for you to try and look for those picks if you're Gale Force. They were really close early on, didn't quite get there. Octopus just dropping down the hammer casually.
They may be looking for a pick on Glaurung. This is Glaurung's first Blaze game in HGC. Wow, this is
no Jaina
very aggressive. Those roots were insane from June. Just catches Fury casually. Now the chase. Pulse bomb there. Akaface with the heals, the armor combo for the stun. Try to slow this aggression, but Gale Force were a long way from home as they took the slow road back.
There's something to be said about committing, and then there's something to be said about halfway committing. Without the Jaina there, Jaina provides peels in case, you just throw a Blizzard down on that choke point, nobody's going to walk through there. 1, you're going to be slow. 2, you're going to take an insane amount of damage. But I'm a bit surprised that they just willingly sent Jaina off and then literally went all the way into the camp, Gillard.
They were definitely spread, and that's an easier rotation for Tempo Storm to make since it's closer to their side of the base. Power slide, combo, Fan goes back through so he can avoid that. Well done, you. Psalm takes a bunch of damage too, is gonna recall back out. Michael Udall hoping to follow that up.
Well, if he had bladed momentum, he might have had another combo there. We're not at 7 yet, so he didn't quite have that. See the interrupt with the Eldruins there. See if he goes back in.
Cocktail 2, 29 gems turned in. Michael Udall hoping to get those 14. With the stun from Akaface, he'll secure that.
See, oil dispersal picked up here. The colors have been updated, right? So it's purple for the adhesion and then red for this one. Although we've got a combo. Fan, lucky to be alive again.
Fan just keeps barely living, and that's got to be frustrating for Gale Force Esports. Gonna still go in for more. Another combo, another land. Ravage in. Tyrael down. Pulse bomb hits. Akaface will fall for that, though. It's an Uther kill. He's got a little bit of time of healing the team up as B-Kid and Glaurung funnel in for even more action.
Oh, they're going in for more again. Oh, the body blocks onto Udall, but they're trying to take down Psalm. The face melt out, not enough as Kerrigan's gonna go down. Biggie, though, trying to get the trade.
What is this bloodbath?
Somebody. They gotta watch the cocktail. Cocktail! Oh. Got him!
Got the cocktail as B-Kid was turning around for the Howling Blast. Still got the cocktail. This is just a complete brawl. It is what we expected, what we were hoping from this series, and every game has gotten just a little bit more so. But Tempo Storm came out on top in those kills, and with Gale Force Esports getting aggressive towards the Knights, Tempo Storm has had lots of opportunities to turn in gems. They're currently leading on the road to the first Web Weavers. They'll get it, and this is not part of the Gale Force Esports game plan for Tomb.
Not at all. They definitely thought that they had the advantage in the clear and everything that they had going on. See Psalm trying to make the plays there. Again, Big E sitting at 4,200 damage. It takes 15,000 hero damage to targets that are already chilled before you can get that. He's on his way, but still a ways to go before he can make sure he has that ice block to deal with Pulse Bomb. It's going to definitely come much later as this game goes on.
Varian Spray, just checking in with the teams there as the Gale Force clearing out these top Webweaver, I can't speak. The push as the rotation comes in from Tempo Storm seems to be in the mid there, trying to take out those towers, just getting as many towers as they can so they can get to heroic abilities and control the ability of Gale Force Esports to turn in. Power slide. Yeah,
they spent a lot of time in the top. They got to really focus on this. If this fort goes down, this is snowball territory. They need to try and clear the minions and then get the Webweaver down to hold on. It looks like they're going to be able to do just that. Udall making his presence felt there on Kerrigan. They have one more wave here to get this down, so they hold. If they give up that fort, they definitely fall into 10 as a threat, and as Gale Force, you have to back up. Instead, Tempo Storm going to turn their attention towards the top. Without 10, they can only really soft engage on this. So good defense by Gale Force.
It was really unfortunate. Big E was out of mana, so we had to go all the way back to heal up. And that's the amount of time that Gale Force couldn't try to engage while Tempo Storm were pushing in this top lane. Now Tempo Storm are just about to get heroic abilities. They're a long way away, or somewhat a way away. 25 from being able to get that next turn in. And that's a little bit of time for Gale Force to try to get heroics, but heroics are online. Tempo Storm have this fort rather empty as a way of maybe being able to take it down.
Pulse Bomb just missing there with Uther nearby. No real threat of the kill. Of course, you do have that percent-based damage now, as you have your heroic naturally, but you get to pick on how you want to enable that. So getting that percentage-based damage ignores the armor. Probably still not enough for a kill there, but a threat nonetheless.
Always fun to see people use this bunker as a way of sieging down structures quickly. Fury power slides in, but there's still no heroic abilities here for Gale Force Esports. There's very little to nothing they can do, and they cannot lose more people here. They give up the forts. They're just about to 10. They would love to keep Tempo Storm here so they can engage as soon as 10 connects. But they're going to get their chance. It's right there.
You cannot do that bunker dance post 10 against an ETC because that will look a lot different. So they got a little bit out of it. Heroics are here. Will it be Mosh Pit though?
Yeah, those are dance moves that you don't want to have. You don't want to be doing those dance moves. It is. It's Mosh Pit. Everything else very normal. Not a Ring of Frost. Wombo combo, Circles of Death. This is the Water Elemental as a way of being able to slow people down if they're chasing you, and vice versa, keep people slowed so that Kerrigan can get on them easier.
I still think the Blaze sounds are probably the best yet. Every time I hear the whoosh and the flames go out, so well done. As the threat of Blaze reigns supreme here. We got the power slide, we got the stun, the instant deletion of the Tracer.
You got the power slide, and Howling Blast was so fast to follow up. There's no way she gets out of that. Especially with all that was used there from Gale Force. There's just no way. No Tracer for 10 more seconds. Gale Force Esports sustains. They lost the 1-4. They're going for more. They're diving deep. They found Glaurung. This is their point to get back in the game. Sanctification comes out, buying some time for Glaurung to try to keep him alive. He gets out, but Caterpillar was the next target for Gale Force Esports, using Eldrin to dive over the wall. He lives. Webweaver's behind this, and that's time that Gale Force weren't pushing the lane, trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, they went for that camp invade. Instead, the camp never fully leashed. So now Tempo Storm will be able to pick that up, which will help the defense here against the Webweaver. Gale Force, you can see they're split in the top and mid lane if you look at the mini-map. So they're trying to get that pushed out. They need structure value. They're diving on Biggie. The Pulse Bomb just missed.
Well, power slide is the counter pressure from Gale Force Esports. Does quite a lot to the Tyrael. Beacon's being chased down while the rest of the team contends with Glaurung coming out of that bunker. Bruisers allow for a quick cleanup of that mid Webweaver, so Gale Force Esports have to get something else done. This top has been freely pushing. They may be able to get in here and start to bring down this fort.
Yeah, that little bit of time that they bought allowed the Webweavers to push forward. And getting this fort nets them a lot more experience. They basically even, this should put them a tiny bit ahead. It does. So now Gale Force has neutralized a lot of this game. I don't know how much remains of that camp, but now it looks like Gale Force, they might just be moving and trying to do more structure damage mid.
They are mid, don't have any of the minion help there. They get that secondary tower. They're looking for anything and everything that gives them 13. They have enough for a turn-in. So does Tempo Storm, though. Gale Force Esports not having control of that mid lane are falling back.
First bullet goes out onto Arthas. No real follow-up, but short enough cooldown where you can just kind of throw that out, threaten a little bit. 30-second cooldown on that. It's about 15 seconds for the night camp of Gale Force, so instead they're going to turn their focus on trying to control here. Udall hiding around, trying to zone out. Eldruin's going to interrupt B-Kid at the last second, buying them a little bit more time. Psalm should be able to poke down as well.
13 there for Tempo, as they're keeping glowering in the bottom to keep an eye on ETC. B-Kid has enough for a turn-in in the top. ETC has 13, with Akaface down there too. Gale Force Esports has split up enough. The Tempo Storm, they're the ones trying to keep their eyes on Gale Force and where Gale Force are. If they can capitalize on this somehow, they're starting to group up in the mid, seeing if they can pull down some of Tempo Storm or pull them up to the turn-in point, and then collapse on someone in the mid as they go back and forth.
They forced out Nature's Cure there as well as the stun went on to Tracer, who's now looking to get the Pulse Bomb in. The cleanse onto Fury. He's going to walk over into the roots. The Cursed Bullet's going to be used as well. D-Shield has been forced out, but now they're trying to turn their attention back. Is Gale Force unable to do so? That's going to be Tempo Storm unable to confirm the kill, but forcing out big heroics and abilities there on the side of Gale Force.
Jeez, Roots Oil is hard for Fury to deal with. All the while,
Tracer.
A lot of damage. Tracer did take damage.
Oh.
The turn-in, they just need 2 more. Gale Force Esports get the turn-in. They'll get the Web Weavers. But Tempo Storm, while they were sort of going back and forth along with Gale Force Esports at the turn-ins, also got the Giants in the bottom, and that pushes back. It does a lot of damage to that bottom lane.
It did a lot indeed. Tempo Storm is going to have a massive wave there. It's going to be pre-shielded there by Tyrael, which will hopefully help. But Gale Force and team coming in. The threat is there. Fan forced to get out. See if Gale Force tries to make a big play, trying to hit a home run here, because there are still 2 forts standing, but we're still waiting on that one mosh pit, Gilly.
Yeah, Fury has been very patient with that mosh pit. We'll see if that changes here. But with the Cursed Bullet and the Roots, he takes half his health and damage. That's not the ideal position to go in for a mosh pit. Tempo Storm's rotations this Web Weaver defense period have been phenomenal. They go up to the top, they force Gale Force to go there. Gale Force aren't sieging anywhere. Now it's Tempo Storm is turning on the aggression. Michael Udall goes into the Maelstrom though, and the Sanctification's been out. Twilight Dream, the Pulse Bomb, Michael Udall is going to go down.
Michael Udall goes down, Glaurung's going to go in and return. We do have the mosh, but it's going to catch on to Greymane. They're trying to take it down. The burst damage isn't going to be enough. Fan finds his way out by using the Army of the Dead as a jump target. Biggie, the under assault hero there, not able to get the takedown. Was Psalm. The back and forth of these teams continue, but June, the ice block's going to be there. It's going to get that chill off, and he manages to walk away.
Every single person on Tempo Storm's team plays so well individually. Fan has gotten himself out of more sticky situations than I can possibly imagine. June with that ice block juke, such a great job. But at least Gale Force salvaged somewhat of that situation. They were pulled up to the top because Tempo Storm forced them to go up there with that push. They also had to deal with the Giants in the bottom. There's still a fort remaining in mid, but they did get the fort in the top lane, so there's only that 1 fort remaining. And the Web Weavers pushed for so long because Gale Force were willing to fight that it gives Gale Force 16 slightly ahead of Tempo Storm.
They have 16, but they don't have anywhere near enough for a turn-in, which
Nope.
means that Gale Force is going to have a staunch defense here or try and make a play elsewhere. We see Psalm is in their sights between Biggie and Udall, lurking right now in the bush. Arthas and team hanging out. They have the Knights mid. See if they can find prime target. They see Fury. You know they can't step in.
Sometimes Gale Force will try to go for boss in this situation and nullify a lot of the turn-in that a team can get done. Their opponents get done with the turn-in at this point, but they're not far enough ahead like they usually are here. So instead they're having to try to fight. But 16 is here for Tempo Storm. They're ready and willing to fight, and they blow up ETC.
They blow up ETC. No Divine Shield. It just came off cooldown. They were not able to get that off. Good focused targeting there onto ETC, and that opens it up for a turn-in. Are they looking for a boss as well? I think they're going boss turn-in here, Gilly.
Yeah, that's been seen as Tempo Storm clear out that minion wave. That was a huge kill on Fury to get that, as Gale Force Esports were trying to run away, trying to regroup. The Pulse Bomb was good from Psalm. Gale Force move in. There's no holy ground here. We have a Law and Order for Tyrael as he gets focused on with a combo too. They take him out. He's going to do a lot of damage. Beacon healing up for his life using the Icebound Fortitude, even the Divine Shield. Michael Udall wants more. Jumps back in with a Ravage, seeing if he can get another combo. The Web Weavers are here. They're for Tempo Storm.
Yeah, they'll get a lot of structure damage in. They're not out of the woods yet, are Gale Force, but that pick onto Tyrael, denying the ball. Mosh pit as a threat. Storm, they're going to rotate down, try and get some damage in on the bottom, move these Web Weavers forward. Getting keep walls here would be a tremendous push forward for Tempo Storm.
But Gale Force are clearing them out pretty quickly. They didn't get the 4 in the top with the Web Weaver. And not having Tyrael, Gale Force Esports has a lot easier of a clear, a sigh of relief, as minimal damage is done to their structures, and 55 gems were used to make that Web Weaver wave phase possible. A lot of that is because they were going for the Web Weaver and the boss play, and Gale Force willing to engage, even knowing that Fury wasn't quite back yet. They get that 1 kill. Now the game is set to very close between these two teams.
They both have enough for turn in. They get the stun, which allows them to come in. They're too short. They're holding on to 4 more. Those are in the hands of Akaface. On the other side, 35 gems are enough, or just enough.
Gale Force has constantly been under threat of mercenary camps that have been far better for Tempo Storm thanks to having that Greymane. Fan has been always splitting off, getting the Giants. So now bottom lane, sort of a problem, and Tempo Storm gets the turn in along with that.
Sneaky. They got it. They were able to disrupt the turn in enough. The top wave is so far pushed out. You have Jaina, which has some of the best clear. You can really try and clear this out. If you're on the side of Gale Force, it's not too threatening yet.
And for Tempo, they're sitting at 8 gems total. This is when something needs to happen. They prep this bottom lane by getting Giants there. They take out both of the towers and the gate, and there's a Web Weaver behind this. They have the Malfurion to try to keep not only the players alive, but the Giants as well, and the shielding of Tyrael.
Hold on 1 second.
We just lost power for a second.
There we go.
We're back. Keeps to
right.
live, but just barely.
Just barely, and you gotta think, I don't know what abilities are up just yet, but they're holding right now. Blizzard is gonna help try and clear out those Siege Giants as they hold here. This keep is still likely to fall, but they're desperately trying to hold on to this keep. This keep is such a major power play. Psalm going in. Glaurung trying to peel, make sure he puts down, and it creates a wall that Gale Force is unable to penetrate because of the slow, the amount that's going to be there. They're looking for the re-engage. No keep to fall back to is Gale Force. It looks like they're finally going to be able to retreat, but they lose a keep in the process.
Yeah, that top Web Weaver is getting fairly close now to the keep on the other side of the map at the top. And Gale Force Esports don't want to lose that out because that is the boss lane. And Tempo Storm are starting to climb ahead in experience now, quite significantly as they continue their siege here in the mid lane. They're looking for 20 and Storm tier talents. This is the time for Gale Force Esports to try to strike. You saw the Water Elemental come out, hoping to keep the slows on Psalm, but Psalm, lots of mobility there for the Tracer. And with just so much flames, Tempo Storm makes sure to create a barrier so that they can disengage and work their way to 20.
So I like this call by Gale Force, Gilly, is that there's not enough return in for Tempo to get 20. But if Tempo were to get 20 and then come in, they could invade and take your camp. This gains you some map control, gives you that map vision, and it allows you to buy time for 20. So Gale Force, not willing to risk giving that away. Sometimes you grab that at a more opportune time, but it keeps vision control, it keeps them in the game, and it denies it from Tempo Storm. They're potentially going to give up the boss here, which isn't that bad. You know, I mean, they gave up a lot because of the Siege Giants and the Web Weavers, but a boss is definitely defensible, especially if they hit 20. But Gale Force, they're sitting here for the moment. I'd be really surprised if they really push in. They're getting a turn in, though.
Look at Glaurung. He dropped all of the oils, set them on fire, created a you cannot pass situation, then drops the bunker down too. He really is the epitome of what you would hope to find in a Terran partner, being able to stop you from getting in there. The bus claimed by Tempo Storm. Red Web Weavers to push out the other lanes so that Gale Force Esports can just worry about this boss. If they win a fight with this, might be able to go along with those Web Weavers. But it's all about holding here and not losing the game.
They definitely need to hold here. Without 20, they are so close to 20. It's finally there, but their position has been compromised. They were not able to push out at all because the threat of 20 was there. Instead, they lose the keep, which is definitely not what you wanted. Fan going in onto Beacon. Water Elemental is out. Galeforce trying to find the fight.
Yeah, power slide hits Cattle, pulse bomb, and get stuff, knocks Fury back from the rest of the team. Michael Udall, triple combo there, as Divine Shield's gonna help him build up that shielding. Twilight Dream, though, as all of Galeforce Esports were jumping in, but it's too late to save the life of Blaze.
Yeah, they want to continue that fight, but the boss is starting to do core damage right now. They had to turn their attention otherwise. The Web Weavers did not do a lot in terms of structure damage, but it bought them enough time to stay in this game. 83% still stands on their core. Gem count, they're not going to have enough for a turn, and they're sitting on about 45 or 50 by the time this phase is over. They might have enough time with Blaze down to find a way back into this, though.
Yeah, that is definitely the worst part for this for Galeforce, is that they use their gems for that, but they don't have another Web Weaver phase quite yet behind that. So if they're going to siege, they just have to siege with what they've got and knowing that bunker is down. Caterpillar still has Sanctification. It's Holy Arena too. There's no Twilight Dream. They know that that was used in the fight, but Galeforce Esports just can't get much done behind this, and they have lost 2 keeps and a lot of the percentage of their core health.
Always the threat. Sanctification, getting those late game pushes. You cannot afford to give up an inch because a team like Tempo Storm, with their composition, can definitely move in. The Greymane, the Tyrael, things like that. The bunker could potentially enable a core dive that you will not be able to survive. So it's definitely a threat if you're on Galeforce. Tensions are high. You've lost a keep. You've lost 2 keeps, but you have to try and get the turn, and you have to hold. You still have to take another team fight. There's a lot to be done for Galeforce to still close this game out.
With Blaze back, Tempo Storm steps forward into the mid, trying to regain the lane control there. Jaina gets the Giants in the bottom. That gives them time on that bottom lane against the Catapults. Time to try to get the team fight. They get a 2-man mosh pit. Michael Udall blinking in. This is it. They get the combo. Twilight Dream too, but Fan is in danger. Fan falls. Galeforce Esports get the first kill in the fight.
They get the first kill, and it might not be the last as Glaurung's caught on the front side. They get the root, they get the lockdown. It's going to be Glaurung going down. That's 2 members on the side of Tempo going down. Psalm on the wrong side of things. And right now, Galeforce so close to another turn in. They're trying to get some advantage. The lanes are still pushed out. They have a lot to deal with, but that is a major step to try and come back in this game.
There is so much to do now for Galeforce Esports in the amount of time where Blaze and Greymane are not there. Fan and Glaurung gone. Psalm's starting the recall back.
He's like, wait a minute. If he manages to pull out a kill here. The sounds of Tracer. Woo!
Woohoo! Galeforce clearing out all those lanes that had been pushed. Jaina's getting the bruisers too. These lanes are problematic.
This might just be the let's get the camp in the middle and this is our last hope, right? They're not pushing out top and mid. Those can be pushed out by the Web Weavers. If you get a turn in, if you're Galeforce right now, you can see that this is here. Fury coming over for the potential invade. I don't think they have enough damage. They'll push out the top and bottom enough so that it buys them enough time. But they might just look and try and end the game here in the middle lane now that they have this camp. However, Tempo Storm gets a camp of their own.
Yeah, I just don't know if they were so separated there, and they're still separated. Tempo Storm is getting a lot of damage done to this bruiser camp. But the fight's going. Pulse Bomb's already been dealt with. Tempo Storm doing what they can to clear out the bruisers so it's less of a push in the mid.
Mosh pit still 15 seconds away. That's the ultimate power play. Fan has been zoned out by Biggie and his Water Elemental. But now the push here in the middle. Web Weavers will be dealt with in the top and bottom by the Catapults. It's up to Galeforce to make something happen right here, right now.
This is the last stand of Galeforce Esports in this series to try to make sure they can keep their Western Clash hopes alive. They have this Web Weaver in the mid. They are taken care of with their everything they have. There is the bolt, the power slide. Twilight Dream as ETC is there. The recall was good. It got Psalm out.
It got him out. A lot was used there. Divine Shield is down, as is Maelstrom. Michael Udall trying to go in. Biggie being threatened, though, by Glaurung. They hold the keep. Akaface is looking to die. He has that redemption. He's trying to find a way. If he dies, he's able to get multiple heals out. He goes down with the pulse bomb on a Biggie. It does not confirm the kill, but they are still in trouble.
Yeah, Gale Force Esports are very low, and they're being chased down by a Blaze, which is no easy feat at all. Fury uses the mosh pit in the back, but they are so low. The damage dealers are so incredibly low for Gale Force Esports. They just can't follow that up. Glaurung charges in for more. Caterpillar along with them. They have the slows. One has been brought down. That is on Arthas. Big Impact using his Blizzard, hoping to slow things down from Tempo Storm again, as Michael Udall does the same with a combo. Gale Force are running for their lives, but they still don't have Arthas.
They don't, and they have just enough firepower to stay within this. There's only 48 gems on the side of Tempo Storm, so they can't exactly turn in. What they can do is turn their attention towards the boss. This might be the last stand of Gale Force. There is no keep in that top lane, Gilly. Gale Force is going to have to take this fight down. They don't have redemption. Moshpit, all the big heroics are down. Can Gale Force hold on?
They do. It'll be a miracle fight, miracle scenario, but they know that miracles have to be made to stay in this. Jet Propulsion stuns out Fury. The bunker's there too. They're dealing with it quickly. Michael Udall chasing after June now, pushing him away, pushing the support away as they try to get onto Fan with the damage dealers. They're charging in. Fury staying on the point. Kerrigan goes down. That is the first kill as Fury power slides away and then bolts back onto the point. He has just about done it. They do take down Tyrael, but with that Twilight Dream, that is ginormous. Tempo Storm will wipe Gale Force Esports.
They're going to wipe it. Tyrael death not in vain there. That's the ultimate trait value, confirming that, allowing Fan to come in behind that. Fury, it's a death march for the rest of his team there. He's going to go down, and that is going to be Tempo Storm closing this series out 3-0, putting desperate situations now for Gale Force.
Gale Force Esports not completely out of the running yet. It's just that the fate is now no longer in their own hands. Heroes Hearth and LFM, will see that series tomorrow. We'll see how LFM can do versus Heroes Hearth. We still have yet to see how Team 12 does in their final series versus Space Station, who came in and upset Team Freedom last weekend. There is a lot for Gale Force Esports to hope for, but as far as being able to upset the Titans that are Tempo Storm, not that one.
Not that one. You know, I'm starting to see some parallels, and I hope I'm not reaching with this one, but help me out here. Dignitas, when Zealots went against them this morning, Zealots kind of brought a little bit of aggression back towards Dignitas. We hadn't really seen that from a lot of teams just yet. Here we've seen Gale Force bring a lot of aggression. You know, they kind of got choked out a little bit in terms of their draft, but the minute they started to kind of fight that fire with fire, things looked different. Tempo had another tough game. But the fact that they are willing to hold, they're able to hold in these games, definitely speaks to their resolve as a team. But the last few games, I think we had, there was 23 combined kills this game. I think there were like 30 plus in the game before. I mean, we're looking at 50 plus kills in the last 2 games alone, Gil.
Yeah, Tempo was very resilient despite a whole lot of aggression, especially from Gale Force Esports. The Gale Force largely got what they would like composition-wise on Tomb of the Spider Queen. But I have to say, Tempo Storm did their homework. They know how Gale Force, they obviously knew how Gale Force likes to play this map, because it started as early as the very beginning of the game with how they went to the top lane and pushed that, counter-pushed against Gale Force and got the first turn in. That was very important to them and crucial in being able to throw a wrench in the plans of Gale Force and get their first Tomb win.
The first Tomb win, you know, Glaurung had said they wanted to iron a few things out this final week going into the Clash. I know we'll have an opportunity to talk to them in just a moment. But I'm not sure if they ironed it out smoothly. They got the iron warmed up a little bit, kind of got through things coming through here. Obviously sitting at 6-1 atop North America is definitely a great spot to be going into the Clash. They'll have a couple weeks to prepare, but definitely North America's hope still looks pretty good. And I think their chances going into Katowice definitely look really strong against some of the other EU compositions.
Yeah, I think Tempo Storm looks like they have a fantastic chance to do really well against the European teams that are there at the Western Clash. They have a unique style that is, it's an identity, which is really cool to see. And that identity for Tempo Storm sort of started to form back when you looked at their play at BlizzCon, how they're able to defeat CE. Saw him playing his Kerrigan, saw him playing Kel'Thuzad, maybe even the Kael'thas, right? He started that idea of Tempo Storm wanting to be aggressive, wanting to bring the fight early on in the game so that they can just take control and then never let it go from there. And it's been very awesome to see Tempo Storm fully adopt that identity as they come in with this new roster.
I 100% agree with you. There were so many times, I think everybody watched last year, Tempo Storm would get the lead and then they'd slow down. and they were never able to really close out in the manner that we expected them to. Now, we threw some stats out there in terms of their game time on certain maps. They're getting the lead and they're closing them out, and that was kind of the missing element, and I think that aggression definitely speaks volumes about that.
And for Gale Force Esports, as we said, they're not quite out of it yet. Their fate's not in their own hands, but we'll see how things turn out and shake out with our final 2 series of Part 1 in HGC tomorrow. But I have to say, Gale Force Esports came in, they had that slump, the LFM loss that did end up ultimately hurting them in standings, but to be able to grow back together as a team, grow stronger as a team too. You heard Michael Udall talk about it. It puts them still in a good place even if they don't go to the Western Clash, in looking forward to things like the midseason brawl and playoffs for that.
Sometimes defeats can be crushing, and this team came back from that tough week admitting that there were outside circumstances affecting them. The minute they kind of regrouped, they've definitely looked like a better team. And coming up short here, it was an 0-3. You can look at the 0-3 and be like, that's what we expected. But when you look deeper into the games, you saw a lot of bright spots for Gale Force and a lot of bright spots to look forward to for Gale Force. So we've seen the highs, we've seen the lows, and we've seen a very competitive Gale Force. I think that now, over the past 2 weeks, we know what Gale Force will get for the final part of our phase is the fact that we're going to get an upper echelon team that can compete with the top teams, that does have what it takes to really create a rough spot in that top part of North America.
Yes, Gale Force Esports has certainly proven their quality, and I look forward to seeing them either at the Western Clash or even beyond that in Part 2. And this just came in. We now know that Team 12 has qualified for the Western Clash too, so congratulations to Team 12, just based on how the numbers shake down. Obviously, it's very intertwined how teams do versus each other, especially in NA, where there's like this big circle of life of like every team defeating every other team. But yes, Team 12 qualifies. I know they will be very excited to get a chance once again to play as a full 5-man roster against some of the top teams from Europe, like they did at the Gold Club World Championship.
Yeah, I think they definitely look forward to that, and it's got to be relieving, right? You don't have to go into the next day. You let somebody else do the work for you, and you're like, all right, pressure's – they still want to win, right? The record carries on, but the fact that you can be like, all right, look, there's not as much pressure. It's a little bit easier, I think, under those circumstances. So congratulations to Team 12. Qualifying another international event for that stellar roster.
Especially because they're playing versus Space Station, and you look at the standings, you're like, okay, it should be pretty clear that Team 12 should take that victory, but that's not what happened with Team Freedom.
That's not what happened with anybody. It seems like Space Station turning up the heat last week, and I think that they're definitely a team that, after settling down a little bit in their drafts and their play, have definitely been a team on the come up. So I think we got somebody peeking over my shoulder.
We have a couple of people peeking over your shoulder. Let's check in with Fan now. Fan, congratulations. So excited to see you guys come in. You played really well today. How are you guys feeling now after that series when you look toward the Western Clash?
We're feeling pretty good. I think we played pretty well today. I wasn't really sure how this week was going to go. Like you heard Udall say before the matches even started, like we are qualified, so we might not have like the full fire in us, but pretty clean games overall, pretty clean execution. So yeah, makes me feel confident about Western Clash.
Yeah, I wanted to get your feelings on you specifically as a player being able to return to the international scene. You've been playing out of your mind. Your stats are ridiculous within the North American region. What are your feelings now being able to go back to the Clash?
Yeah, I'm really happy to go back to the Clash. As a player on tempo, I'm not doing the shot calling or drafting like I was last year, so it puts a lot of the, I guess, stress away from me, and I can just focus on being the best player I can be, which is what I always enjoyed doing the most in the past anyway. So yeah, feels really good, and looking forward to the Clash this time. I'm pretty confident. It's the most confident I've been going to a Clash for a long time.
Well, I think that is well warranted. You guys have been playing just so awesome. It's been great to see you guys adopt an identity and just run with it. So good luck to you. I'll send you over to J-How.
Fan, does that mean we can retire the 4th guy title?
I didn't say I never analyzed anything.
Well,
you guys need me to. Oh, I was gonna say, if you want me to analyze Eastern Clash or something, it's a 4th guy right here. No, just kidding though.
Well, congratulations, man. I talked to Glaurung earlier this week. He said you guys definitely wanted to iron some things out, draft-wise or play-wise. It seemed like execution was definitely on your side. It seems like your drafts have a lot of synergy. Obviously, you guys sitting at the top at 6-1, it shows that you are strong. But did you feel that maybe coming into this weekend you did improve on some things that needed working on?
Honestly, coming into this weekend, I wasn't sure how strong we were gonna perform. We try a lot of different strategies, like a lot of different strategies in scrims. So like this past weekend, we're trying a lot of more crazy things, and the scrim results were probably like one of our worst scrim result weeks overall. So wasn't 100% sure, but whenever we play in tourney, we seem to get it together and be able to play really cleanly.
You guys obviously have unique drafts all around. I think probably one of the most difficult teams to kind of study. Do you feel that that's going to be an advantage when you look? I mean, obviously, you guys probably have kept your eyes on some of the European teams, looking at the top 4 teams going over there. Do you see teams, do you know or feel confident going against those, that those could possibly work and definitely work in your favor in the long run?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we play drafts that we think are good at the end of the day. Maybe some more experimental than others, but if we play a draft, it's because we believe in it after trying it out in scrims or whatnot. So whether it's in NA or EU, I don't think it necessarily matters that much. I've never been like afraid of Europe, so to speak. Like they're really good players, but all you need to do is just play cleanly throughout an entire series, and you have a good chance to beat anyone in NA or EU. So yeah, any strat is possible if we believe in it.
Well, the belief definitely seems there. The execution is definitely there. Congratulations, man. Look forward to seeing you in Katowice.
Thanks, man.
All right, Fan. We know 3 teams from EU that are going to the Western Clash. Team Dignitas, Fnatic, and Method. Any players or teams you're particularly excited to play against?
Really excited to play against Dignitas. They're far and above like the kings of the West right now, in terms of just what everyone pretty much believes. And yeah, I look forward to playing against them. I'm pretty close friends with everyone on that team. And right when BlizzCon ended, I told JPL, we're taking you down next year. So
Oh.
we'll see if it happens. We'll see if it happens.
Well, I'm very excited to see that series. Hopefully we get to see it. Congrats again, and good luck at the Western Clash. The floor is yours for shoutouts.
Thanks. So shout outs to our sponsors, Red Bull, NVIDIA, Twitch, Secret Lab, Felix Gray, and SkyTech Gaming. We're actually doing a boot camp next week, courtesy of Red Bull and NVIDIA. So awesome for them to do that for us. And shout outs to the Twitch viewers, all of you Twitch chat, I see you. I didn't forget you. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. You guys can further watch us at SC2 Fan TV, Junehot's Caterpillar, Samhots, and Glarong TV if you want to check out our personal streams.
Thanks, man.
No problem.
3 teams now qualified from North America for the Western Clash, and in both Europe and North America, tomorrow settles that 4th and final spot for good. What a crazy day we had here, getting those 2 teams qualified.
It wasn't easy, for Tempo Storm, obviously giving Team 12 a gift as well. So the fact that Gale Force again fell, it was definitely an entertaining series. Nonetheless, I think we definitely picked up quite a bit between our 2 series today. But Tempo Storm, he talked about their chances at the Western Clash. I've never been. It's been a long time, I think, since anybody has kind of felt this type of hype about a North American team. The old Tempo Storm, everybody's like, good, they're good, they're good, they're good. And then we get this iteration of Tempo Storm. We're like, wow, they're even better than the last version, right? That's what's scary, is how good this team could potentially be.
Yeah, it's hard to see where the skill ceiling lies with this team, as part of that is just their sheer flexibility and how they can play, how they can draft, what they can draft. It's a little bit of everything, and that's very exciting as an NA commentator.